Hey guys, welcome back to She Became Me Live, where we unlock pain, passion, and power. My name is Lentina Rogers, and I'm your host. My co hosts are Ramika Howe,
Hi, everyone.
Yolanda J. Brown, So, today is our 25th episode. So, we are so happy to share this 25th episode with you guys. So, I want to thank you for joining us for our final broadcast for 2020 as we reflect and review, some of the stuff that went on all year long. So I also want to thank all our guests that appeared in the last 24 episodes. We really appreciate you sharing your time and your gift, skills, and talents and sharing with our viewers. And if you missed any of the episodes, feel free to go back to our YouTube channel, She Became Me, and you can catch up and just binge watch and take your time and go back and watch all the episodes. They're really good. For some of you people that did not see it, go back and check it out. I'm sure you guys will love it. Also, wanted to mention to you guys that next year, the She Became Me YouTube channel will only have one episode a month, and it would be broadcasted the last Tuesday of every month. So starting January, you can catch the She Became Me podcast the last Tuesday of
Mhm.
every month. So, hey, ladies, what's going on? Yolanda, Ramika,
Hey,
How's it
how
going?
are you? Just
good.
excited. I cannot believe 25 episodes
Yes,
later when
yes,
this
Yes,
journey first started, and it has just been exciting. And so, please, yes, as Tina said, go back and watch the prior episodes because you'll also see our evolution
hmm
that got us to today.
yes,
And we could not have done this without the support of Danola Burton, founder and
yes,
CEO,
yes,
our
definitely.
2020 sponsor, Enhanced DNA Publishing. We
Yes,
just thank Danola and the work of Enhanced DNA Publishing
yes,
for supporting us throughout the year. That She Became Me entire project, but
yes,
getting us to this point of our virtual format for the show. And if you, any of our viewers, are interested in sponsorship opportunities for 2021, please email us at shebecameme2020 at gmail.com. We would love to hear from you so that we can talk more about that. And speaking of our She Became Me book journey, for those, some people may be joining us new,
yeah,
all of us, the visionary behind She Became Me, the book, A Letter to My Younger Self, is um, was the vision of our very wonderful, amazing host,
yes.
Lentina Rogers. And this book has evolved. We are all authors in that book, but the book has evolved throughout this year. As you know, those that have been watching us consistently, but some may be new, may not know that we are a 2020 finalist in the 2020 Best Book Awards. And so we
yes.
were named out of over 400 winners and finalists that were announced in the anthology category. So we are just really excited about the She Became Me movement, and we hope you all will be too. So if you were not a fan before tonight, we hope you will be.
Right.
Yes, and we're just welcome all of you on today. And when She Became Me first got started, Tina, she's always had a vision to bring the women together. And so, if you don't know or if you've been waiting, we have great news about our She Became Me women's group. And so, starting Monday, January the 11th at
Hmm.
7 p.m., we will be launching our first She Became Me women's group. And so we're super excited about that. And there's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of fellowship with other women. There's going to be some exciting tools for you that will be shared with you for your personal growth. And you just don't want to miss it. So we are creating a community and environment where you can come. It's going to be online, so you can tune in from wherever you are,
Right.
wherever you may be watching from or tuning in or registering from all over the world. So we welcome you. We've been waiting for this moment, and just excited to see how many great things are going to come out of this. Some life-changing things are going to come from this women's group. So I'm excited to see that.
Exciting.
Yes. I also want to take this time to thank you, ladies. I couldn't have got this far or done this without the support of you guys. I just wanted to go ahead and publicly thank you guys for being so wonderfully supportive and supporting the process and my vision and help bringing it to life. So let's just kind of get into it. So let's take a look back and kind of reflect for these last 6 months of the podcast, and even all the way back to the beginning of the year of 2020. So, what are some of your biggest takeaways that you guys would say from the podcast that you got from your experiencing of that? Because this is my first time doing a podcast, so I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but go ahead, kind of give me what was the experience for you guys for the last 6 months?
I know that when we first started out, I really didn't know what to expect. I knew that we would be getting together to have the podcast and to welcome our guests in and to have different conversations. But really, each episode that we did, it just brought something new. It's like it just added a new layer on to She Became Me. And so we would come with an expectation of one thing, and then we would leave with, oh man, our minds being blown. And so just 2020, it was it has been a mind-blowing year. But every time that we got together to put the shows together, to come up with the content, it was just, the topics just opened us up to a whole nother level that we didn't even expect before we even got started with the She Became Me podcast.
Yes, I agree. It has almost been therapeutic, us having these opportunities to meet new people that were really going through the same things that we're going through with the pandemic, with life challenges, coming to terms with things from our past, our future, our present, just being able to talk about relevant topics, have fun, and um, give exposure to individuals in the community that I would not have met if it had not been for the She Became Me platform.
Yeah, for me, I had this vision and a strong urge to just, do something to connect in the community and bring people together in some type of awareness. There were so many people that we interviewed that was out here doing great things that other people was unaware that was there that could be useful. So it was definitely like aha moments for me and a lot of gratification. And I was happy to be a part of connecting others. So I just think it was a fabulous year considering all the negative things or um, emotional things that we had to go through, for the pandemic. So I would say, trying to think about what was maybe one of my favorite shows. So I would almost have to say one of the things I think I enjoyed the most was when we had the episode where we had I want to say she was 16 and she was a business owner and with the I want to say I cannot remember the name of the company right now. But anyway, if you go back and catch up to it, you will see we had a 16-year-old. She was on, and she had a business where they did the yard cards and the yard signs. And I was just really impressed with the work ethics that she had at 16 and how she was able to do her homework, go out and work, and just be an example to young people of responsibility and accountability. So that was probably one of my favorite shows. So, did you ladies have a favorite show that you would like to share with everybody?
Yeah, so that was our Party Palooza, our
That's
co-author.
what it was.
Yes.
That's what it was. Party
And you
Party
all,
Palooza.
Palooza.
yes, and don't think that we forgot you, beautiful. It is, I just say it's the brain fog, but
Yeah.
Yes.
I call it the pandemic brain fog. But yeah, I was going to. It was all of those initial episodes. We were still in person,
Yeah.
and we had Bernice Turntime.
Yes.
She moved me in a powerful way. I mean, so many. It was. It's hard to say which was my favorite. I mean,
Yeah.
um, Renee Jones
Yes.
took us to church.
Yes.
Took us to task.
Yes.
Moved us with her testimony and powerful words. She issued a call to action that was pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Um, oh my goodness, so many.
I
Brenda
know.
Petty, our
Yes.
discussion of her work in the community.
Yes.
Um, well, I'll list everybody in a minute, but just so many powerful things, taken from
I
each and every
know.
segment. What about you,
Yeah.
Ronika? Did you have a favorite that
Yeah.
stands?
Well, of course, I love them all, but
Yes.
my favorite episode is when we had uh, the panel that talked about the different spiritual connections and
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
how so many different people they connected spiritually in their own way. And I just thought
Yes.
that was so amazing that
Oh yeah.
everyone was able to come together. And though, there were like maybe different, beliefs or different ways that they connected spiritually. I learned so much from that segment.
Yes.
Yeah. You're right. You know what? All of them are so powerful and was great. And you're right. Now I was blown away that particular month. We had everybody for the spiritual
Yes.
panel because we had from Pastor Rachel all the way to Precious with meditation.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I mean, we really provided a wide range of ways to communicate or connect spiritually. So yeah, that was awesome. But all of them are really good, so it is hard to choose. So so ladies, what about how has 2020 impact you personally? Like what are some things that you could say, just took a personal toll on you from all the stress and the things we had to go through for this year?
Hmm.
Personally, well, of course, it was like a roller coaster, a lot of
Yeah.
ups and downs. For me, I am a business owner. I own a few businesses, and
Mhm.
during the pandemic, I did have to shut down one of my companies,
Yeah.
and but I gave birth to another company, so it
Right.
wasn't all that bad. But
Right.
that was my baby because I've been operating that business for 23 years.
Yeah.
And so that was a real big deal for me in 2020. And then a lot of it just hit close to home with the pandemic and people being sick and passing away. It really hit close to home. And so just impacted in a lot of different ways. But you know what? We're still standing. We're,
Yes.
we are still standing, and I'm grateful for that because it could have been worse. But in a lot of pain came from 2020, the pandemic. But there was a lot of newness and greatness that was birthed as well during the
Yeah.
2020 season.
Right.
Yes. I would agree with that. 2020 has taught me truly the power of resilience.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, I've said it, I'm resilient. I have grit. I have,
Yeah.
but nothing until this year came. I truly had to demonstrate it in a major way. In 2020, there were times when, um, I felt like 2020 could have broken me to a point of no comeback, and so my faith has been strengthened.
Yes.
My A lot of, like Ranika said, a lot of positive things came out of 2020 as well. I learned a lot. I learned a lot personally, professionally, in my home, and I know, if you have been married for more than 5 minutes, the strongest of marriages, well, I can't say for everybody, but me and my husband are 5 years in, and we spent more time together this year than our entire 5 years of marriage. It seems, where we had to consistently, my husband works nights,
Right.
so and we, just due to several things that happened personally for our family, it's like, I'm glad we like each other. We spent a lot of time together,
Right.
my daughter coming home, all of these things could have just been broken, to a
Right.
point of no return. And so I'm very thankful. This year has definitely made me truly understand gratitude and being thankful and counting my blessings.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely. I know it's been a lot of heartbreaking pain and negative and stressful for a lot of people, but I must say, I need to count my blessings that I've had a lot of great things that came out of 2020. I published the book, She Became Me. We won 2 awards, and especially, just so honored to be amongst the finalists, for the category anthology for the American Book Fest. I mean, that was huge. Um, and now, just recently, and I'm just letting the cat out the bag. I'm gonna be ready to publish something else in 2021.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's gonna be, surprising to most people, was surprising to me, but it it birthed out of the 2020. So having more time. The one thing I can say, it gave me more time that I ordinarily would not have,
Yeah.
to work on projects or passions or things that I wanted to do. So I must say that is the biggest thing I can say, that I got out of it, time to really do things and really
Yeah.
like have time to recover and relax. Um,
Yes.
so what are you ladies? Do you ladies got anything that you plan on changing for 2021? I don't even want to say New Year's resolution, that's getting old, but do you have anything that you plan on implementing or changing for the next year?
Well,
Hmm.
for me, during 2020, like you said, that time to myself, I learned so many things about myself. I thought I mean, I know myself better than anyone else, but a lot of things were revealed to me about myself. And I've had so many things on pause for a long time. And
Hmm.
so for me, 2021 it's going to be a year of revelation, just revealing um, these things that will no longer be on pause for me. A year of completion, because I've started so many different things and they have just been just on pause for a long time. And so I'm working on a couple of projects myself, but just making sure that I complete things and continuously just exercising the self-care that I have learned to do during this time, during this
Right.
season, just continuing that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
good.
good.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would say, my best friend challenged me um, to have balance,
Mhm.
greater balance in 2021, and taking control of my health,
Yes.
taking control of my health, period.
Yes, yes,
Period dot.
Yes.
It is, Tina, you said something very profound to me about just taking control of this area of my life, where I've understood discipline in the past and just haven't been able to get a grasp on it. And it's even more important now more than ever.
Mhm.
And so that is number one.
yeah,
Number one.
yeah. Somehow, what I want to say back in October, that's exactly what I did. I started the process of, being having more self-discipline, and having control over my health. Just coming to understand that we only have one body,
That's right.
one mind, and we must take care of it. So 2021, I'm going to continue the process. As you ladies already know, I've shared with you, I've already made some strides with
Yeah.
my personal health and losing weight. We won't talk about it too much, so I get a little bit more down. But I'm going to definitely continue that process, and to make it my number one thing is, being healthy. We have to appreciate the body that we have. Everything works together. So, one of the things I thought to myself when I decided to go ahead and start, eating better, making better choices in that area, because my thing was, well, you have grew in so many areas in your life, yet and still I didn't have control over, you know, my body weight and size I truly wanted to be. So that was huge for me to say, quit ignoring that, and you must take control of that, and you must be responsible and accountable for that. So
Mhm.
yeah, so now I'll be 3 months in, and taking control over that part of my life as well. But at the end of the day, it just takes time, and we all have to just take preparation and accountability. So every year is kind of what society do. We take a time to review, reflect, and look forward to what we're going to do new that's going to improve where we're at. So yeah, definitely um, expect to see a brand new me maybe in like definitely a couple more months. You may not recognize me. So
Come on. Come on.
ah,
Come on, come
Come
on.
on.
so I think now would be a good time for us to go ahead and jump right into Shemale. We got some
Shemale.
questions.
Mhm.
We got some questions and some concerns that our viewers they sent in, and they want our opinion. And so let's talk about it. So let's get something out of the Shemale box. You guys remember the
Yes,
Shemale box? So let me get
this
something out of
is
here.
a favorite of our show.
Yes.
We decided to give you all more time tonight so that we can get some of the questions answered or
Yes,
discussed that we didn't get to discuss throughout the year. Because sometimes the
yeah,
conversation with our guest would be going so great that
Hmm.
yes,
sometimes we didn't get to Shemale, or we would just
Yeah.
get to one. So,
right.
if you're down for, we're going to give you some more time tonight if you want to
Yes,
stick with us for some more time. And so we're going to get several questions in
yes.
tonight.
So we're
Yes.
gonna do them for y'all tonight. Okay, so first question. What's the best way to prepare to date following a divorce? What's the best way to prepare to date following a divorce? Go ahead, ladies, just jump on in there.
Well, ding, 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 ding. I have a suggestion.
Yes,
So the best way to prepare to date after a divorce is to take time for yourself to heal first.
yes,
Um, because if you jump out of one relationship and right into the next, then there's gonna probably be a repeat of some things that you may have seen in the previous relationship. So I would say to just make sure after the first step to preparing for your next date is to date yourself, to just to take that time to heal and then practice that the self-care and loving you and doing for you and being able to stand on your own before you go off into the next chapter of relationships.
yeah.
That's just my thought.
That's good. No, that's good. Definitely good. Yolanda, you got a suggestion?
Oh goodness. Mm-mm-mm. My whole thing, I mean, obviously, I just said that I'm a newlywed still. I consider myself still a newlywed,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
when we're thinking about, you know, I think there was one show where someone asked about ending relationships and things, and I talk about friendship funerals,
Yeah.
um, and things that can very much feel like a divorce,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
can really
Yeah.
anything that we're talking about, I believe, can be applied to any type of relationship. And, definitely taking time to understand what happened,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think taking personal accountability
Yep.
for relationships that end, especially a marital relationship. I could not, I couldn't imagine that it's not necessary, almost critical, in order to move forward to date again, that you've done an assessment of what part we have to do an assessment of what part we play.
That's
Because
right.
it's
Yes.
easy to
Definitely.
say the part, what the other person did, but what
Right.
part did we play in the breakdown?
That's right.
And um, I talk about some of the key reasons relationships fail is ego,
Yeah.
Christ-centeredness, there being challenges there, self-love, being challenges, whatever, it may be different things that people assess, but I think having a list matters,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and really trying to assess why a relationship breaks down before moving
Right.
into something else.
That's
Right.
good. That's real
Yeah.
good.
I would definitely say embrace the pain.
Mm,
When you're willing to embrace the pain, ending anything is going to be painful. There would be a grieving period. So when you're willing to embrace the pain, the process will move along a lot sooner. And kind of like what you guys said, the best thing you could do is reflect on self
Mhm.
and build yourself up to be positive, to be strong, and self love will
Yes.
reflect your energy, positive energy, and loving yourself will constantly, well, people will see that. It will shine, it will project out of you. And this is what they mean when they say you attract what you are. Now,
Mhm.
your mouth might say you're something, but your energy is really giving off something else. So people can really feel your energy. So be true to yourself. Be
mm,
true to yourself. Embrace that pain and figure this thing out because when you love yourself and happy with self, you can attract more positive people in your life. So I would say that would be one of the greatest things you could do before dating, so you can attract positive people.
Yes. That's so
that's
good.
good.
That is so
So
good.
let's pull out another one.
That is good. While you're pulling that out, one of the
Yeah,
funniest things someone said to me was, "Would I want to be married to me?"
Mhm.
right. That's good. That's
I
good.
said,
That's a good.
"Oh."
Yeah.
I was
And
like,
it's a good
"Oh,
thing
Right,
because, and like Tina, like you just said, like when we do attract who we are.
right.
We attract who we are. So if we're broken, 9 times out of 10, we're going to attract brokenness.
That's right.
And then we have to realize also that happiness and that joy that we seek in relationships with other people, it cannot we cannot assess that through other people. That joy and happiness comes from within.
Right.
good, Ronika."
Yes. Okay, so let's go with another question. My best friend and I are considering going into business together. How do I know if we will make compatible business partners?
Mm,
Wow.
uh,
Well,
that's good.
so,
That's a great question. You know,
well, it could be tough, but go ahead, Yolanda.
you know, it's a great question because oftentimes it's just like living with someone.
Mhm.
It's the same thing. You can be thick as thieves, and then the minute you live together,
Oof.
it just goes to, you know, everything
Yes,
just falls apart. And so I think in business, it's even more. crucial because there's money involved, and money is emotional
Mhm.
for individuals. So it's really communication has to be at the forefront of really understanding the other person's values around business,
Yeah.
around work ethic. Is, I would ask the question, for in my case, is our grind the same?
That's right.
Yeah.
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 And and if it isn't, do we balance one another? Do we have
Right.
similar goals in mind?
Mhm.
And so those are things that matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Just knowing each other's strengths and weaknesses,
Mm-hmm.
and because whatever your values and your habits are prior to get into business, those are the same
Yeah.
habits and values that you're going to have after you start a business. And so if you notice certain things, it's just like getting in a relationship, like the red flags that we
Yeah.
ignore.
Yep.
If
Yep.
you notice those red flags, then they're going to be present even after
Yeah.
you get the business. So just
Yeah.
Yeah.
make sure.
Definitely. Yeah, there's different levels to people.
Yeah.
So you need to understand that if you're a friend and you guys, your friend is motivated to go to the club, that does not mean they have the same motivation for other things. So you have to be careful because if you normally what you do with this person, well, you got to look at that. Are you always doing fun things? Are they, doing things that show accountability, responsibility? Um, because they're doing certain things that you overlook. For instance, like when you go out, they never have money. You're always sponsoring the whole night. So that means they're not good with money. So I'm not sure you want to like bring this into a business when even when the fun time, they're not responsible enough, to, have their money and things they need and being accountable. So yeah, you definitely want to look at the different signs, accountability and responsibility in the fun atmosphere because it's a friend doesn't mean that it will work out in a business.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
yeah.
That's good, Tina. One of our Facebook viewers
Mhm.
said
Yeah.
money, hopes, and dreams are involved, which
Yes.
can be
Yes.
sensitive. Thanks,
And that
Carla, for your comment.
and
Yes.
that look, and that can be a problem.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so let's try another one. Okay. Oh, okay. How do you how do you not let the hurt baggage of the past relationships influence future relationships? How do you not let the hurt and the baggage of past relationships influence the future like relationships?
Oof.
I, I have 3 words,
What?
and I know it's easier said than done, but let it
It go.
go. Because if you don't let it go, you're gonna drag it into the next relationship. Um, yeah, and it's you just want to let it go before you move forward in another relationship. And yes, it hurts, it's painful, but that pain will turn into something great, something greater. And you just take that time. That's why I say that time to yourself, and you will learn so much about yourself. You will learn things about yourself that you didn't even know that existed. And then you just the self-love that you get just from being in isolation and just to yourself and learning all of these great things. But you have just let it's an easy fix. It's easier said than done, but you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go.
Yeah.
That's good. Uh, own your stuff
Yes.
and not other people's baggage. And it is, again, easier said than done sometimes because sometimes we blame ourselves for the baggage and challenges of another relationship,
Hmm.
and so, but a lot of times, or I'm not even going to say a lot of times, sometimes we have taken on the hurt and trauma that other people have
Yeah.
experienced, but it was never discussed in the relationship.
Mhm.
It was never
Mhm.
talked
Right.
about. And so we really don't know where to put it. We don't know where to compartmentalize it. And I
Right.
think that carries over, um, undiscussed challenges and issues get carried over because they haven't
Yeah.
been addressed. And so, and sometimes it's a very hard thing because it has taken me a long time to really understand that people love you the best way they know how.
That's right.
And a lot of
Right.
times it
Right.
is formed from what they're taught, what they've seen, what their experiences have been. But that comes in
Hmm.
asking the right questions in those relationships. And
Right.
sometimes we just don't know the questions to ask.
That's right.
And so that takes growth, it takes maturity, it takes a willingness
Yep.
to really address the pain and understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I say, I agree definitely with, what you ladies are saying. At the end of the day, you cannot take on the attitude of being a victim. You have to examine the part that you played,
Mhm.
and like you said, and just only take responsibility for your part, and try to reflect and realize what do I want to do to be better. In relation with other people, talk about it. A lot of times, keeping it to yourself, hiding stuff, feeling ashamed, guilt, and blame game, all those things keep you hostage to the
That's right.
situation. So talk about it either with a professional counselor or just about
Yes.
someone who cares. So be very careful though who you talk with
That's
if
right.
it's not a professional. Find someone that has maybe got some experience and understand. Sometimes people think they understand, but sometimes they don't. So just be careful with who you talk about the situation with. Just find someone who cares, willing to listen, and with no judgment,
Mhm.
because you will find yourself even more harsh situation if you with people that has a very judgmental um, opinion about things. So that's just one option, but be careful if it's not a professional.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's really
I know
good.
you're going to be pulling out another question, but
Yeah.
we always, we have a disclaimer on the She Became Me podcast, that these are our opinions, and the questions that you write in are just seeking that, our opinions. We do not, um, but we do have various careers, Tina being a behavioral specialist, but
Mhm.
understanding that we are all advocates of therapy
Yeah.
Yes.
and taking care of
Yeah.
your mental health. And we
Right.
don't profess to be professionals, mental health. We're not therapists, so to speak. And so just know that we are advocates for um, all of us taking care of our mental health.
Yes.
And so that we can, I always say, love ourselves better so that we can love others better.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Definitely. Thank you for that, Yolanda.
Mhm.
Okay, guys, next question. How do you get your adult kids out of your house without feeling guilty? How do you get your adult kids out of your house without feeling guilty?
We all have adult children.
We do.
I have four. I have four.
Ah. Hmm.
So, well, I'll say this because I had four. So I just gave and I have four sons. So I just gave them their fair run of, going to college. You get those 4 years. If you don't go to college, then you get a 24-month plan. So you got 24 months to take like a trade, a skill, or just find a job. And then you got 24 months to save some money to get you an apartment. It's just that simple. So, for some people, you don't have to do that. But, for those that take advantage and just want to stay at home and just party all the time and don't take responsibility, I definitely would say, just put a plan together and just have a meeting and say even when college is over, give them 12 months or 24 months, or and of course if there's something that happens, of course we're going to give them that opportunity to reset and things
Mhm.
like that. But yeah, if you have those children that just want to take advantage and just want to stay home and party and spend their money, definitely. But we do realize that some children can't wait to get out.
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
they leave quickly.
Yeah, I think for me, I have two that are out of the house, and I have one left. And so I think I was the two that are gone. I was their biggest cheerleader. I was
Hmm.
their biggest supporter. I was their biggest investor. Like
Hmm.
I really poured into them and invested in, like, if they had a dream or a goal, and I really
Hmm.
just I pushed them toward their goals like early on, so that when they did get to the point where, hey, I think it's time where I want to get out. Like my daughter, she's 19. She's already out on her own. But that was a choice of her own. She did not have to leave from here, this place, but
Yeah,
she's just independent.
that's
And so it's
good.
just like but I was her biggest cheerleader, biggest supporter. And not just, I think teaching them things early on helped them both um,
Yeah.
transition into moving out on their own. But just cheering
Okay.
them on and just being there to support them in any way that I could, to if they were to fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good. And I remember one of our earlier shows, we talked about parenting. And Ronika, I remember um, you talking about preparing your kids,
Mhm.
as
Hmm.
entrepreneurs
Mhm.
and teaching them different things. And so my perspective, and then Tina, let me just say, I was around the Moore family,
Mhm.
watching, and honestly, just because I didn't have my sister is she came later,
Yeah.
in my life. So I did not have siblings to necessarily watch
Mhm.
get out, get on their own. I had, um, and my parents lived out of state, so I was with my grandparents. And I think
Hmm.
my perspective is, when I think about how I have um, coached my daughter in this process, because
Mhm.
she's
Hmm.
back home. I mean, she launched out on her own to live in New York. So
Mhm.
that was her, outside of being away at school, was her first plunge at life
Okay.
and
Right.
being on her own. And it scared me to death, because I think about, but now she's back home. And, my whole idea is get a plan.
Mhm.
Of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
no one wants to be at home with their parents. I
Right.
mean, there
Yeah.
are some people that do, but with any,
Right.
you know, let's really think about it. They don't want to be at home with their
Yeah.
parents.
Right.
And I think the important thing is to ensure that there is a plan,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to feel guilty because I'm never going to push her out, like put her out,
Right.
until she's ready. Because I remember all of the times I had to go back,
Mhm.
get out on my own, not handling my business,
Mhm.
and had to go move back with my grandparents. I'm sure I did it at least 3 times
Yeah.
in my adult life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then became a
Yeah.
homeowner. So it's just all of these things, this back and forth that I just don't want her to experience.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
I want to make sure that she's ready. And so I think any advice, I would give is to assess the young adult, well, the adult's readiness. And yes, if it's laziness, that's a different conversation.
Right. Right.
If,
Right.
like
Right.
Tina said, if you say it's a values proposition,
Mhm.
always.
Yeah.
If you're taking the blessing for granted, because as parents of adults, we don't have to do anything.
That's right.
Right. Right.
That's right.
And so I think
Right.
helping adult children realize that this is a privilege.
That's right.
It is not an automatic given that
Yeah.
that you can be at home and living comfortably or whatever the case might be. So I think
Right.
those kinds
That's
of
good.
conversations matter.
Yeah.
That's good.
Definitely. Definitely. Okay. I think we got a little bit more time. We can try another one.
Yes. We told y'all we were going to give you all some time tonight.
Okay. Well, how do how do you become comfortable with your growth while others around you become uncomfortable?
Ooh.
Mm. Let's heat it up. Let's heat it up.
How do you become comfortable with your growth while others around you become uncomfortable?
Yeah. That's
Mm,
one of those things, as a mentor of mine had once told me, it's kind of like airplane fuel. Once you start to soar, that fuel,
mm,
it burns off. And the journey that you're on, it's
mhm.
not meant for everyone else. So it's okay if they're uncomfortable. But you being comfortable in who you are becoming is the most important thing, that you grasp onto that, because you're comfortable for that moment, but you'll begin to be uncomfortable, because once you're comfortable, you don't want to stay in that zone where you're comfortable, because when you're uncomfortable, that means that you're being stretched and that you're growing.
Yeah.
So people around you, when you start to grow and people around you get uncomfortable, either they're going to go grow with you, or they're going to stay where they are, which could possibly pull you back. So it's okay for them to feel uncomfortable, just as long as you are comfortable with staying focused on what you're working toward and going in that direction and not going backwards.
Right.
Yes. Yes. I can't manage someone else's discomfort.
Yep.
You know, I can only keep moving.
Right.
And I encourage anyone that's in my circle, in my midst, you can't do anything but try to grow with me, because and I grow with, that person, because we're supporting one another,
Right.
and so when someone becomes uncomfortable, eventually they're gonna fall off.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the reason, season, lifetime
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
for me, because everybody can't grow with you, everybody can't go with you.
Mm-mm.
And I'm okay with that. I became okay with that a long time ago. And
Yeah.
so um it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
unfortunate, when someone can't understand that. I personally believe that we are created to grow
Yeah.
Mhm.
and be better and do more and reach our God-given potential.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when you start to grow, and people around you become uncomfortable, because when you change, anyone that's attached to you will automatically feel the change.
Mhm.
And then that's a trigger to make them look at themselves and say, well, should I be doing something different? Should I be doing something else or stretching myself? And then ultimately, if people are not ready to change and
Mhm.
want to change and they're comfortable, like everything is, then because they're uncomfortable with what you're doing, I say you have to just step out and create different boundaries, because those that cannot no longer fit in the boundaries that you have, because as you grow you got to keep redefining your boundaries,
That's right.
and
Yes.
and and some people may come along in those boundaries and some people are going to get left behind in those boundaries, because every time you reshape or redefine yourself, some people will no longer fit into the new boundaries,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
you have to become okay with that, because the most important thing has to be you.
Mhm.
What you feel has to be you. It has to be the most important thing. So
Yeah. And remembering that a ship that does not sail is going nowhere. So that's a friendship, a relationship, a partnership. If it's just sitting in the dock, you're not going anywhere. And ships were made to move. They were made
right.
to go. So I think
That's
of
good.
Okay, let's see. We might have time for, let's see, maybe one more. Our
One more,
time is
one
getting,
more, one more.
we
more.
getting close.
Our
Let's
new
see.
viewers
Bring it.
joining us.
Okay. What's one thing you can't live without? What is one thing you can't live without?
Chocolate. Okay, okay,
Ah,
okay, okay.
well, probably for most of us, our cell phones, but we
Yeah.
done got we done got so used to them.
Ah,
But
Goodness.
something for me, look, my glasses.
yeah, I'm getting like that too. My glasses. Um,
Wow.
I don't know.
You got something, Yolanda?
You know, one of the first questions on the first shows was about our spirituality.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
just simply can't. That's the first thing that came to mind. There's some other things. I
Yeah.
don't know what I couldn't live without besides the ability that I have to pray
Amen.
and my faith.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's good.
Well, since that one was short lived, we didn't uh contemplate a lot on that. So I could do one more.
One.
Okay. We have a question.
Oh yeah.
What
You
were
see
some of
one?
your greatest fears around
Oh,
COVID-19?
okay. Okay. We can answer that.
Um, one of my greatest fears was for my mom, because she's a pancreatic cancer survivor, and so I worried a lot about her. So there was a time where I was not around her I didn't get to see her in person for like 6 weeks straight. I only was able to communicate with her by FaceTime on my phone. But yeah, just the fear of her just getting sick in any kind of way. And I think that she did better than all of us in
Mhm.
my family. But that was my biggest fear, is that she would get sick.
Yeah, I can piggyback off of that because my mom is in a nursing home,
Mm.
and we was worried, and we're still worried because she hasn't had visitors in a long time.
Mm,
They used to do things like bring her outside and we
Mhm.
could come if we mask up and when it was warm enough. And then they used to bring her to the window. So now they don't do any of that because the staff, they're so short because people are sick, they work there, they don't have the staff to do that anymore. So she's not seeing anybody, haven't been out. She definitely wanted to come out for Christmas and she couldn't. So, those are one of the things that my family fears and worries about. But um, they've tested her so many times and she keeps coming up negative. So we are
Gee.
grateful and thankful for that. So,
Mhm.
yes.
um,
Oh my goodness. The loss has been so significant
Mhm.
around from COVID as a result of COVID. So many people near and dear have lost loved ones and friends, that remains. I can't even
yeah,
say it's a past tense thing.
Mhm.
It is still every day I wake up, number one, thankful for life.
Yes.
And so because I can only say it could have been me. It could have
right. Yeah,
these fears around just loss. And it's like, when will it end?
Mhm.
right.
And so that remains a fear
Yeah,
around COVID.
Mhm.
And
yeah.
so, wow, my goodness, we could go on all night. And I know
Oh,
we
yeah.
have taken so much time, but there was a few of
Uh-huh.
our viewers who said they
Uh-huh.
couldn't live without truth.
Okay.
Good.
And Carla said truth. Latanya said peace.
Yes.
Okay.
Peace. That's a
Those
good
are good.
one.
Thank you
Very
for
good.
those
Thanks,
comments.
Latanya.
Yeah, those are great. Glad people are interacting and commenting with us.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
guys, I think we can do one more before our time is up, and we'll try to get through this one. Which one is more useful, intelligence or wisdom? Which one is more useful, intelligent or wisdom?
Well,
Well,
what you want to go?
I would say, well, okay, for me, I would say intelligence is the ability to maintain information.
Mhm.
You may be academically smart where you can retain information, you might can read a lot of books, you may can ace a test, but how do you apply that in everyday life would be wisdom to me.
Mm.
So, are you wise enough to know when to hold them, when to fold them, how to execute what you learn?
Yeah,
Because if you just absorb a lot of information and you can't share it or express
that's
it
right.
or execute it with anybody, who cares? You
That's
know what I mean?
Yes,
that's good.
So you
that's
just
good.
only that's only just for you. So I say it's wisdom, because if a person is wise, you don't have to get an A on the test. Hey, you don't have to like read 100 books. Just read a book. So,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, I think being wisdom, and being wise is more useful.
You just preached that thing. So
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say I agree, and you just knocked it out the
yeah.
box.
I wish I had a mic. If I had a mic, I would just drop it.
Drop the mic. Drop the
Thanks.
mic.
And so
Oh,
this has been great. So do we have any final comments,
yes. If
Yeah.
anybody want
for
to
our
give us
viewers,
something, yes,
20
come
to
on,
2021?
somebody give us something.
Give us
Give us something the close out with.
Whew. Mm. Stay prayed up.
something.
Stay
Definitely
prayed
that.
up. And, you know, don't um, don't major in the minors. This
Right.
is it is time to step our games up, as it relates to um, our mindset, our expanding our thoughts around community,
Yeah.
around um, what it means to truly be in community with others,
Yes.
Yes.
and how can we make and time to think about legacy.
Yes.
Yes.
What is your legacy?
That's
Yes.
that's good.
Yeah.
And I would say just take advantage of um, the quiet time, those still moments. Peace, be still. Um, just go within and really just um, go within just to learn more about yourself. I can't stress that enough because that will help you when you start to be in community with other people. But you start with yourself first. Um, just learning more about you, what you like, what you don't like, and being okay with how you feel about certain things, being able to express that, and being able to share. And just we're in isolation, but that does not mean that we have to be isolated from.
Right. Right.
We still have means of communication, phones, and I mean, I wrote my son letters over
Mhm.
the pandemic. So just utilizing those things, even though we're in isolation, we are not isolated from the people.
Right.
Because we, like Yolanda said, we need to be in community and in fellowship with other people.
Oh yeah. Just remember that people need people.
Yes.
God designed us to need each other and depend on each other, to a degree.
Hmm.
So it's perfectly fine, to try to be in relationship. You need relationships with someone. There's something to be said if you can't have a positive relationship anywhere in your life. There's definitely a problem. So you need to definitely look within.
Hmm.
If you can't keep positive relationships, you need to check yourself. You need to figure out what's going on inside of yourself that people are not wanting to, be within company with you. So that's definitely something I would say, advice to people going into 2021. Definitely try to reach out to someone, and be in fellowship with, find a new group. Like the She Became Me Women's Group in January. Find some new ways to communicate and some new activities, some new hobbies, and to refresh yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
And don't ever think that if you are in a space right now where you may um, feel hurt or you may be broken, guess what? You can still be used. You can still be
Yes.
Yep.
used. You can speak life into someone. You can share your testimony. You can share your story
Yep.
with someone that may be going through what you going through or getting ready to go through what you've been through.
Through.
So don't ever think that your situation has broken you down so much to where you're just broken, because brokenness can be turned into beauty. And just remember that and
Yep.
hold on to that.
That's good.
Definitely. Do we have any final questions you see? Yolanda, anybody have for us? Let me check.
Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. We had a question which I think we addressed, but this specific question is around what self-care are we going to work on
Okay.
or do different for ourselves in 2021. So I already said, well, health and wellness for me.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
I,
Just more self-care.
yes.
Just taking more time doing the things that I love, that I enjoy, and that things that feed me spiritually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't express that anymore.
Yeah.
But ladies, I enjoyed this time
Yes.
chit
Me
and chatting
too.
with you guys since we can't be in person right now.
Yes.
And I want to thank everybody that joined us, and we appreciate you guys taking the time to interact with us on She Became Me tonight. So I think it's come the time that we will say bye. So, ladies, until next time, we'll see you.
We'll see you all in 2021.
Yeah.
2021.